Lux your way with the Lux Cravings boxes from Taco Bell. There's the classic $5 box, the indulgent $7 box, and a whole new obsession in the $9 box, the Flamin' Hot Grilled Cheese Burrito. Try the Lux Cravings boxes at Taco Bell today.
Find your sun with Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea. Made with real iced tea and real vodka. Cold, refreshing, and made for moments like these all year long. Let the good times cruise with Sun Cruiser.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons. It's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim. It's the only thing like it in the world.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
How's your day going?
Going good. Thank you. Yes.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Really, guys?
What? Jackson's always has those game ready.
Let's go!
Hey Bronco Nation, this is Boise State football wide receiver Ben Ford. I've had to face some setbacks on the field this past season, but toughness isn't about staying down. It's about getting back up. I am proud to represent Lithia Ford of Boise, where you can find the largest selection of Ford trucks that are built tough and, like me, handle the hits and keep pushing forward. Come check out the incredible inventory and competitive pricing at Lithia Ford of Boise. And when you buy here, you're not just getting a truck, you're supporting Boise State athletics and Lithia Ford NIL partnerships. Come see us at Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN broadcasts come from the Sun Cruiser Studios. Sunny days call for Sun Cruiser Vodka Iced Tea, made with real iced tea and real vodka. It's refreshingly smooth and easy to drink. Crack open a Sun Cruiser and let the good times cruise. Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise, and our major sponsors, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, RoadPaint.com, and the Blue and Orange Store. At Lithia Ford of Boise, we're proud to stand with Boise State athletics. Through our NIL marketing partnerships, we're investing in the future of student athletes. Lithia Ford of Boise, here to get you there, wherever that may be. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. Broadcasting from the Sun Cruiser Studios, here's BJ Rains with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, What's up, Bronco Nation? BJ Rains, Jay Tust with you. Jay, of course, with Bronco Studios. Hope you can hear us okay, see us okay. Let us know. We're on the trusted 5G mobile hotspot, so you never know today, Jay. And not much of a background either. I apologize. Football practice still going on.
We come at you live right outside.
We just
of
stepped
football
right
practice.
outside. You can hear the whistles going on. That's what we do for you guys. Practice still going on, but we wanted to make sure we got you guys a show today. A lot going on. So they are in the indoor today, practicing. A lot of observations, thoughts we want to give about practice. And then obviously there'll be some interviews today. Maddox Madsen, some other players meeting with the full media. I know, Jay, you already had one-on-one with Maddox after practice. Folks can go back and watch that on Bronco Studios. But, yeah, a lot to get to. Appreciate you guys. Sorry for the weird 11 a.m. time today, but kind of doing what we can with our schedules, Jay, and everything else that's going on. And I'm trying to get a little bit of practice footage loaded in here so we have something to show folks. But, Jay, it's Tuesday, practice 3. Full pads, intensity was up a little bit. We are, by the way, going to talk Drew Fielder. Nathan Carroll is going to pop out after practice. We were joking, Jay. Employee at Boise State, as everybody knows. There's some news is official, but not really official, and we don't want to get anybody in trouble. So I'm going to hold I know, Jay, that you have so much you want to say about Drew Fielder, but I don't want to get anybody in trouble. So Nathan's going to come talk Drew Fielder with me. Once that becomes official, maybe you'll have some more opinions on that. But, yes, Drew Fielder is entering the transfer portal. Big news for the basketball team. We will discuss that in about 15 minutes. Nathan Carroll will pop out. But wanted to talk football while Jay was here. And, Jay, intensity, man. Practice 3, full pads. Like I said, there was some hitting. There was some hooting, some hollering. It's going pretty hardcore in there right now.
I think so often when we kind of lead into spring ball, even if you hear that there is going to be some change in practice, I don't know if we can always actually see it with our own eyes, right? Like it might be how they do a certain drill or something like that. But I would say the tempo of practice is certainly noticeable. How many reps they get when they split the team into 2 at times is noticeable. And as BJ said, we saw live contact today. And I want to say, when I say a good amount of it, don't let your, imagination run wild. I'm just saying it's spring ball. And I don't know how often you really see any of that this early, but as defensive coordinator Eric Shenander told us yesterday in his press conference with the media, where we visited with him for about a half hour, he said there's an emphasis on tackling and some of the things that they're doing. And he even also mentioned that he thinks Spencer's going to let the team go live a little bit more this spring, which we saw today.
Yeah, no doubt. And we had number 1 against number 1, offense versus defense, full team live tackling. And we had Dylan Riley and Sire Gaines out there running the football and getting tackled. And there was one where Sire Gaines took one to the outside, and there was a couple, he got tackled out of bounds. And there was another one at the other end where I forget who the running back was, but Terrence Brown got on the DB because, hey, like he was already out of bounds, no late hits. Like they're working on that kind of stuff too, like let him go. But they were tackling, and I was a little surprised. Like, it's one thing for your 2s and 3s and 4s down here to be going live, but when you've got Sire Gaines and Dylan Riley fair game on tackles, it was probably 3-4 each. It's not like they had 20 live reps for each of those guys.
Don't let your imagination run wild, but
the fact that Sire Gaines and Dylan Riley, arguably your 2 biggest keys to this entire season, outside, of course, of Maddox Madsen, both, diving into 11-on-11 piles and like I said, busting for the outside and getting tackled. I don't remember seeing a whole lot of that in previous springs.
Who better to get better at tackling or to improve your tackling by then going up against a guy like Sire Gaines? I mean, that guy's got leg drive. He's tough. He's physical. He's hard to bring down. And we saw that even today a little bit in practice, but it's I think that, talking with, Spencer and Eric and, the improvement of tackling is a huge emphasis on this team. And you mentioned Terrence Brown. That's another guy, a new addition to the coaching staff, where he's brought some things with him from Cal and the University of Washington, for that matter, too, that they're very optimistic about in terms of improving in that area. And so I think it just shows that, we might still be, whatever it is, 160 some odd days away from the season, but no better time than now to address some of the, the concerns, I guess, from last year that might linger.
Now, this may be a first in the history of this presentation, Jay, but we are talking spring football, and there's about 15 comments in there, and they're 100% on Boise State basketball while we're talking football. No one has said can't hear you, can't see you. So I'm guessing.
Well, that's good.
I'm guessing you can hear us or you can't, and you think we're talking basketball, and we're not, because there's a lot of Drew Fielder talking there and some other transfers. again, we will get to that later in the show, but we were inside, practice is going on. Somebody just gives me a thumbs up if it's okay. You don't need to see us, okay? I don't care if it's grainy. I didn't do my hair this morning, but if you can at least see us or at least hear us, we'll call that good. But, well, I mean, you mentioned the tackling, Jay, and I'll throw this drill up there while they were doing some live tackling with players today and going through some drills and hitting the strike zone, so to speak, there and working on some things. And there's Eric Chenander right there, and they were actually doing this with the offensive players as well. You never want to have to deal with that, but if there's an interception or
everybody's
or a
taking
fumble,
part in it.
And maybe special teams, you still have to tackle, and some of those offensive players play special teams. But it looks like a pretty simple drill, and obviously it's but the tackler is going full speed. I mean, there's two pads. There's two pads there, but obviously, like you said, and this is a typical drill you probably do most of the time in spring, but they really are trying to work because as he said yesterday,
Jonathan Franklin Jr.
As he said yesterday, one of the areas that was not good, and I think a lot of fans would agree, Jay, the tackling. At times, I mean, think about that South Florida game and some of the big plays they gave up.
Pride of Bishop Kelly, Cole Miller right there.
Who had a big hit later in practice.
He did.
But tackling was an issue last year, and they're trying to work on that today.
Yeah, but you can also see here how quickly they move from drill to drill. I know that it all sounds like so cliche and things like that, whatever, but even Spencer bringing it up at his introductory press conference of spring ball about how no walking on the field. And if you allow it, then you allow it, right? And that might creep into the standard of your culture for that matter. And so not a lot of walking. Not like I said,
they sometimes even make them go back and redo the run to the next drill.
The tempo of practice is certainly noticeable right now, and I think that because of the tempo, they're able to accomplish a lot in the time that they're given inside the Gene Blademeyer inside the Calvin Williams.
We're getting a lot of work done in there too, but I was just going to say.
I'll also say this too, just for fun. Two legends in the house. One of them we are accustomed to seeing here, Dirk Cutter, who's still, as a role on staff here,
and Coach Pagano
and Chuck Pagano back in the house at practice today.
Scott Butterfield, he's a legend in his own right. I mean,
I agree with you.
Jeremiah Dickey. I didn't know which way you were going
JD,
with the Kerry Simons. I mean, we go down the line with legend. Johnny Ballgame was in there.
Now we're going a little too far. Just kidding.
But
Johnny,
once again,
national media, Johnny Mallory.
Right. They cannot say they haven't had national media out to camp yet. That's true. Sunday nights, check them out. But I don't know what they did Saturday. I don't know if you were here, but it was closed practice for media. But again, today, practice 3, they broke it out into the 2 sets and for the team periods. Had 2 sets of team periods going on at the same time, live, by the way, on both sides of the ball. It's funny there's 10 assistant coaches, and I think about 8 of them were watching the younger guys. They can watch the tape of the other guy, the 1s and 2s later, but they're down there with the 3s and 4s. And Eric Chenander said yesterday, the ones, maybe the 2s, they're probably getting similar reps that they normally get. But in a typical spring practice, a Cash Herrera or Jackson Taylor might get like 2 or 3 live reps. They just don't have the time. They're not going to have Maddox Madsen standing on the sidelines for 20 minutes. Those guys need their reps. But the way they break this out now, I mean, Cash Herrera is getting 15, 20, 25 reps. Same with Jackson Taylor. Like these young guys are getting a ton of reps. And I thought that's one of the noticeable things for me when you talk about changing practice is this splitting into 2 where they're going that way, this offense going that way, twice as many reps. In particular, these young guys, you're going to see the development of some of these young guys come in because of the reps they're getting.
I'm not going to, and this is not to imply that there's ever been a lot of standing around at practice because there simply never has been. But all I'll say is that now, like, there was special teams period in the middle of practice today, and you see the quarterbacks go down to the other end of the field, and they're diligent at working at something on their craft too, right? So just the way that they plan everything out to maximize it all, it certainly is noticeable right now, and I think that's probably what you would see. I mean, this is full year number 3 of Spencer Danielson going into this thing, and I think that you're going to see him make adjustments and things like that. But it just feels like despite the fact even there's a number of new assistant coaches and stuff like that, at least what we've seen out of practice, none of it's been clunky.
No,
like all of it has been very fluid.
And I've been very impressed with the new coaches in terms of their energy. And I mean, Alvis Whitted out there in cleats. I mean, he gets after it. And Terrence Brown, some of the drills that I've seen Terrence Brown working with, he's been it's been noticeable, the energy. And it's always, does that mean the previous DB coach didn't have energy? No, it doesn't. But it's a new style, some new drills, the way both these guys are they're sweating just as much as the players.
Yeah. And let's talk about cornerbacks for a second here, because that's such an interesting position on this team right now to pay attention to. With the way that Eric Chenander likes to play defense, man, it certainly helps to have, 2 cornerbacks that really can cover and play in man at times. And Amarion McCoy is no longer around. Jeremiah Irby, no longer around. Both those guys are hopefully headed off to NFL pastures, if you will. And then a guy that would be most likely to replace them in the starting lineup, you have Sherrod Smith, who played great down the stretch last year, had a big game at Utah State, had one of the biggest hits of the season in that game too. And he's currently, out with an injury, which has been documented by the coaches in their press conferences too. So you really have like an open competition there for those 2 cornerback spots. And as Eric Chenander told us yesterday too, like if you think you should be the man, now is your time, because now you are going to get the opportunity to have reps. And then when you see some of these guys come back and a Sherrod Smith, man, you better make your mark now, because Sherrod's a darn good football player.
And it's funny, we're not supposed to say like which guy was with the ones, which guys with the 2. So my code phrase is always they're getting an oppority. If a guy's getting an opportunity, you're not saying where he's playing, whatever, but if a guy's getting an opportunity, and I will say one guy that today got an opportunity, Cam Jamerson, was it the TCU transfer? Cam his last name Jamerson, right? Yeah, Cam Jamerson. I thought he looked good in some drills that I saw. Freeney, I think, is going to get an opportunity too at corner because of some of the guys you're mentioning being out. Dylan asked how the wide receivers are looking.
Well, that's right. I wanted to go there next.
And another thing that, again, we there are rules of practice. They don't want us getting into the depth chart, which they say there's not even a depth chart right now. I understand that. But I will say, when you have, I don't think this is going out of tone, because Spencer Danielson has been very high on Rayshon Jones from the start. But when you have, one guys down here working with Mad Dog and some of those guys, and then you have the 3s and 4s, working down here, I was watching that way to watch Rayshon Jones. And even in the team period earlier, right before I walked out, deep ball thrown. I forget who threw it, made a tremendous catch. Got hit pretty hard by Cole Miller. That was a nice hit by Cole, but great catch for Jones. And if there's an early guy that's like living up to the hype, so to speak, I mean, Spencer said it when he came on that broadcast we were doing at the basketball game. He's like, as he's getting up, he's like, Rayshon Jones, that guy's real. And sure enough, through 3 practices, I've been pretty impressed.
I think that the reason why they're so confident about Rayshon, though, is because, like, now we've seen it with our own eyes of practice. Even these first 2 practices, we've seen him make some plays.
Yeah.
But it's everything about him is how he approaches the weight room and how he approaches the film room. And, I think it's things like that where he's starting to check a lot of boxes that are going to put him in a position to contribute early or get those early opportunities. And so far, when he's gotten an opportunity, it feels like he's made, the most of it. But a local kid that played at Rocky Mountain High School, he was talented enough that you could basically pick what side of the ball to put him on, because he's a heck of a defensive back as well. But, he's playing wide receiver right now, and he's number 19 on the roster, folks. So keep an eye on Rayshon Jones, because he seems like he's been an impactful player that really aligns with what they want out of their culture here at Boise State too.
Multiple questions about Mad Dog. How is he looking?
I think he's looked fine, man.
Yeah.
I think he's looked sharp. I think that he's moving around. He looks healthy. And talk about another guy that just, for me, he's looked crisp and sharp. And I mean,
it's spring ball. I mean,
it's
what
hard.
are you looking for?
I
mean, I haven't seen him throw 5 interceptions. I'll say that. I mean, I don't know if he's thrown any actually in the parts I've seen, but it's spring ball. I mean, what do you? I don't know what are the throws on target. I mean, it seems like for the most part, there was another play where Rayshon Jones was wide open, or no, it was who's 13 Moore, the Southern transfer.
Yeah. I'm blanking on
I can't think of his first name.
I'm actually.
I wish I had a roster on me.
I'm really excited about him too. He's a great kid. That I actually made a note here. So
he was wide open on a play, and the throw was missed, but it was a different. What's Moore's first name from Southern? The receiver, Darren Moore.
Morris.
Darren Morris.
Darren
All right,
Morris.
there you go.
Sorry about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Apologize.
I'm actually really excited. I think I'm excited about him too, for that matter.
Yeah. And I forget why I said that. Oh, there was another quarterback that threw it. So it is noticeable, I think, when Madsen's in there. A lot of his throws are more closer to being on target. The timing of some of his receivers, and I know Morris is new this year. But I have another guy I will say defensively that stepped up today, at least, was Bull. I saw a couple different. Can't read my handwriting there.
How do you interpret anything?
Some of that you can't give. That's all. That's depth chart stuff right here. Don't.
I don't think anybody could interpret that.
Okay. They did the. I will tell you.
Nathan's laughing.
They did the. What do they call it? The one-on-one competition period. Okay. So 23 came out on the offense.
Oh, I can read. Okay.
55 came out on the defense.
Yep.
I circled 55. He won the rep.
47
came out. 17 came out. It was an incomplete pass, but he was open.
Oh, look at that.
27 at 18. It was pass pro, and 27. Where'd 27 go to school at?
He's going to a better school
running
right
back.
now. Is all I know.
Nice. They teach pass.
They
teach pass pro pretty well there.
About a guy that's sturdy and put together.
Harry
Holy
Douglas,
heck.
Harry Stewart.
Yes. The third.
46. 44 won the reps. See, there you go.
Like
but Bull, shout out Bull. Had a couple really nice reps today. In the one, they were doing some one-on-one kind of D line versus O line. Bull got by his guy a couple of times. I was.
That's actually something else that's noticeable. Is I feel like usually in practice, for the most part, when we get these one-on-ones, it's mostly corners and wide receivers going at it. But we even saw running backs practicing a little pass pro with some edge rushers in some encouraged one-on-one live situations, which I thought was pretty cool. I mean, they talk about how important pass pro is as a running back, and I thought those guys really responded well today.
Yeah,
even the freshmen for that matter.
Anything else, Jay? 3 practices in, stand out to you? I mentioned we're going to talk to Bowen Phelps, I think, today.
Yep.
I think Cam Bates is talking today. I'm going to get a one-on-one, I believe, with David Latu. But anything else from football? 3 days in. Long way to go here, obviously. I think today was first day in full pads. But any other observations before we let you roll?
I don't think so. I mean, I think we've kind of laid it all out there. I just am excited to see it actually look like football today because they are in full pads. We saw some tackling, and we're under a month away from the spring game when everybody can come out and witness what these guys look like for real. But I think that football's back in the air. Everybody. I mean. Regardless of what it looked like, I'd probably be excited. But I think I'm pretty excited about the new guys, and like you said, even bringing up Darren Morris, he also kind of looks the part right now in my opinion.
Akeem Wright's done some things. I think that
I think that some of the needs that they wanted to go out and address. I think that they were effectively able to do that. Now we're only going to be able to tell when they put the ball down this fall and they kick things off against Oregon, but.
Was it the DBs or the receivers last fall camp that just dominated? And we thought, I think it was the DBs that we said had a really good camp. And then you get out into the regular season, and you're like, okay, well, maybe the receivers weren't very good either. Like it's kind of, you never can really tell in spring ball sometimes because it's like, okay, both. It's like the head coach.
I think you just hope that both have their days.
Yeah, I guess you want it to be about even. But I remember last year going into the season, I think the DBs had just great camps, and then
which I will say as the season progressed, though. Man,
but then I think early in the season, you're like, well, maybe the receivers also weren't maybe that was a reason they looked great because the receivers weren't great. But I think there's a lot of encouraging signs. Tuesdays, Thursdays, for the most part, are open to the media, and then Saturdays are closed. Bronco Studios, Jay, I know you had a show yesterday. Anything you want to tease from yesterday to rewatch or tomorrow? Or
we talked about the 12 for 12. Boise State trying to push for 12,000 BAA members. The growth in the BAA has been insane ever since Jeremiah Dickey arrived here, but trying to get to 12,000 to embrace the Pac-12. We had Alex Venardos on yesterday. I'll look at the Friday show because
little beach volleyball.
Gosh, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We luck out with weather here, and if it rains, it's going to rain on Thursday. But yeah, beach volleyball at home the next 2 weekends. They play Oregon at 1:00 on Friday over at the beach volleyball courts on campus here. So we're hoping to do our show live from.
Oh, there we go.
Beach volleyball courts
there we go.
Friday.
All right. Well, Jay,
JD might swing by too for that matter.
Who's the player you're getting
today?
Yeah,
Matt Wagner.
Okay, led the hype circle today.
Yes,
Matt Wagner. You'll see him.
That was just coincidental, but I'll take it
on Bronco Studios. You'll see that in the near future here. So Jay, appreciate you, man. And we'll be get back into practice, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Sounds good, bud.
Jay Tust. Oh, he's pumped on that new Mariners contract.
Let's go, Colt Emerson, locking him down.
I'm not gonna lie. I know a lot about baseball. I had to look up who he was.
We're really excited about him, but he has not had an MLB at bat yet. I think he's got like 40 AAA at bats or something like that.
That's got to be. Usually the guys at least get a cup of coffee.
Yep.
Is that the record, or it's got to be up there for guaranteed dollars for guys never played?
Right now, it is the record. However, the Pirates kid is going to probably break that record, Griffin or whatever. But it's a record right now, and I'm not going to lie. Jared Kelnick kind of ruined it for me when it comes to these. You'll get too excited about some of these prospects, but if it's worth giving him that much before his first MLB at bat, I hope the Broncos. I hope the Mariners know a thing or two about what they're doing.
All right, well, I heard a buzzer, so get back in there so you don't miss it. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.
Nathan Carroll's
coming in. We're going to talk basketball, which, believe it or not, is dominating the chat today. Boise State basketball, Drew Fielder, his decision to leave. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. Appreciate Jay Tust. Make sure you check out all the previous Bronco Studios shows there on their Boise State Athletics YouTube channel. But hey, You're watching a free show here on YouTube, folks. Support the sponsors, and that includes our title sponsor, Lithia Ford of Boise. They got NIL deals with men's, women's student athletes. They're taking care of Jeremiah Dickey's vehicle, Spencer Danielson's vehicle. Return the favor, folks. Lithia Ford of Boise for your next car or truck purchase. Make it at Lithia Ford of Boise. Hey, Sun Cruiser, Nathan, they got a new flavor, blueberry lemonade, and it is tremendous. Ooh. Blueberry lemonade, it is tremendous. They have that in the variety pack now where you get pink lemonade, you get strawberry lemonade, blueberry lemonade, and just good old-fashioned lemonade. They're coming out in 12-packs now, too. It had been 8-packs. Now you're going to see some 12-packs starting to come out. So I was at Albertsons yesterday having lunch and bought an 8-pack. So make sure you guys hit up Sun Cruiser, vodka iced teas, and again, they also have just the vodka lemonades. So think Truly, kind of, but think better. No carbs, no carbonation. I mean, it's just better for you. It goes down smoother. Sun Cruiser, pick one up today. Pearson Carmichael, I think we could hear some news on Pearson Carmichael in the next day or two, maybe as early as today. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. He is a candidate to return. It would not surprise me if he does return. We'll see what the news is on Pearson Carmichael coming in the next couple of days. A lot of other guys as well. But Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, the best in the business. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest is that mobile e-branch online banking right there in your smartphone. Make the switch today. You don't realize what you're missing until you switch it, folks. Idaho Central Credit Union. Hey, if you didn't win the lottery, they had the raffle for Banana Ball. If you did not win it, Jackson's has your chance to win 2 trips. You can go over to Eugene, Oregon, Autzen Stadium, see the Savannah Bananas take on the Party Animals, or right here at Albertson Stadium, you can see the Tailgaters against the Party Animals. Buy 2 body armor products, and you get entered with your Let's Go Rewards app to enter a trip to see Banana Ball, courtesy of our friends at Jackson's. And you see there on the screen, buy one, get one for $1 body armor products. So make sure you take advantage of that today. Hey, also take advantage of Taco Bell, Treasure Valley Taco Bell locations. Again, going to talk Boise State basketball here momentarily, the Drew Fielder situation and what's next for the Broncos. But Taco Bell, those crunchy chicken cantina tacos, the crispy chicken strips, the breakfast quesadillas, so many great, delicious options at Taco Bell. Was there the other day with my kids over the weekend in between baseball games. I had just enough break to head over to the Eagle Road location. But Taco Bell, always appreciate Taco Bell, the Nicolason family SON Manager Group. If you're looking for a delicious, quick, cheap meal, I'm telling you, it's Taco Bell. Visit a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. And if you need some Boise State gear, whether it's basketball, football, beach volleyball, you name it, they got you covered. The Blue and Orange Store online, theblueandorangestore.com, or anywhere in the world you can order online, like I said. But they have the 2 locations in town, the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame location where you can get those customized jerseys. And they also have the location there at the Boise Town Square Mall where they have 14,000 hats on the hat wall. The Blue and Orange Store, check them out online at theblueandorangestore.com. All right, we go from one future Hall of Famer to another. Nathan Carroll joining us. And Nathan, I do want to talk mostly basketball with you. And we have a lot of comments, I think, for the first time in history. We had spent 10 minutes talking football, and like all 15 comments were basketball related. Wow. So, but you just watched practice. Give us one football take, what you've seen today. Anything stand out to you? I want to talk basketball, but give me one. Since you've been at practice, give me one take.
Yeah, I think in general, the offense did a nice job bouncing back. When we were here on Thursday, I thought the defense really dominated practice, particularly in the pass game. Thought the offense did a much better job, particularly on the ground game. Thought they ran the ball really well, which, again, at spring camp, is the Boise State run offense elite, or is the run defense sort of bad again? Who knows? But I thought the run game and the offense in general did a nice job bouncing back.
All right, ton of comments, a ton of hot takes out there. I'm going to say this, and I could probably go on a 5-minute rant here. I'll try to keep it to one, Nathan, and then we'll get your thoughts. But there are so many hot takes out there, and sometimes it doesn't have to be made into something bigger than it is, okay? Sometimes it's not always they don't want to play for the head coach. They don't want to go to a place where they can't win. They don't like their teammates. They don't, all these hot takes out there. And the biggest one was that this shows that Leon Rice has lost the team, and that he has to go, and nobody wants to play for him. And people want to say I'm a, Leon Rice apologist, whatever. That's fine. The invitation for Christmas dinner is probably at my house waiting for me. I get it. All right. But I think if you just use common sense here, like, it's okay to say, like, he just got a better offer. Yeah. Like in Boise State, like, did all they could. He was great this year for him. They were prepared to make him the highest paid athlete in the history of Boise State athletics. and he's between back channels and whatever legally his agent's talking to people, whatever, is getting offers for more than $1 million more than Boise State could pay. And at some point, if you're Boise State, you're saying our budget's $3.5 million. We can't give $2.5 million to one player. And so good luck to you. Like at some point, like, you don't have to be mad. Like, you can be disappointed at Drew Fielder. We thought you were different, thought you were Bronco, whatever. But like, when you're out, when you're pushing and clawing and asking donors for extra money, whatever, trying to get $1 million to give them, and he can get 2.5 or 2+, maybe upwards of 2.5 somewhere else. I don't think that it needs to be some big, the sky is falling, the program's crumbling, Leon Rice has got to go. Like, I think in this case, it can be as simple as Boise State stretched their budget, prepared to make him the best offer they could to try to keep him, but he's still getting offers for more than $1 million more, and he doesn't know what his pro future is. What if he gets hurt next year and never plays basketball again? Some guys like Ashton Genty are different, but I would also say if this was the same situation with last year, with Ashton Genty 2 years later, he would have got $10 million from somebody, and they probably wouldn't have been able to keep him. Like, the numbers have changed so dramatically in a couple of years. Like, and people are saying, "Oh, those numbers aren't real." No, big men in the portal are really hard to get. I've talked to numerous sources in the program, out of the program, whatever. Like, that is real money, $2 million plus, maybe upwards of 2.5, maybe even more. We'll see where he ends up going, but I've just been, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, so many crazy takes out there about that mostly come back to coaching. Yeah. And it's like, in this case, like, first of all, the RJ Keene situation, it's not always what it seems on paper. Some guys want to come back and it's just maybe not the best fit, whether that's financially, whatever. Like, sometimes it's not like all these guys are just hurrying out of town. Guess what? There's probably going to be more. It wouldn't shock me if Andrew Meadow is in the portal at some point. Like, I don't think it like more guys might leave. Like, it's happening, but it doesn't mean the program is crumbling, falling. They have they have 3 players currently on the roster. Like, they also have $3.5 million to spend, and they have a plan, and they have a track record of bringing in. I would say they have a pretty good track record. They brought in Drew Fielder. That was a plus. They brought in Javen Buchanan. That was a plus. They brought in Dylan Anders, which you can say was, given the money he had, maybe a slight negative, but he won some games. He hit some big shots, and he started every game for him.
And he was a big-time transfer. He was a
starter
at UCLA.
Point guard at UCLA. And at the time when they brought him in, everybody was fired up about it. Right. People can now go back and go, "Oh, I knew he was garbage," whatever. They went and got him. Did it work out 100% the way they thought it would? No. But over time, like Chibuzo Abo, they went and got out of Texas Tech. Abu Kijab out of Oregon, who hadn't done much. Manuel Acott, Marcus Shaver, Najee Smith. Like, I'm missing guys even from the last couple of years.
Alvaro
Cardenas. Like, I would say Boise State has a pretty good track. They're not 100%. Nobody is. Right. Dylan Anderson, Arizona transfer, that was a bust. Didn't work. Like, yes, they do miss. But I would say in the last 5, 6, 7 years, I would give them a net positive on the transfer portal in terms of guys they've brought in. And so I would say that, like, let's see who they get. Let's see who they're talking about. Let's wait. But I just the Drew Fielder one for me, I think sometimes let's just call it like it is. He's getting $1 million more to go somewhere else. Good for him. You take that and you leave. It's not always got to be some big controversy. And like, he got, like, is it a blow to them? Yes. Was he an all league player? Maybe first team preseason next year if he comes back? Yes. Is it? I'm not sugarcoating the loss. That was the one player everybody said, circle it around him, circle the team, build the team around him. I'm not saying it's not a loss, but I'm also saying the reason he left doesn't have to indicate bigger problems in the program. He just got a bag of money, $2+ million, and he's got to take that.
Yeah. Occam's razor, right? The simplest answer is often the correct one. And there is no Drew Fielder conspiracy, secretly hated the teammates, Leon's lost the locker room. It's like you said, just there is a bag out there waiting for him. And when he lands at a Alabama or Wisconsin or one of these
Nebraska,
major jobs that, these programs are expected to compete for Final Fours and national championships, I think people will realize, it was probably just the money.
And I also can tell you, when we find out, let's watch his stats next year too. I find it hard to believe one of those places he's going to get to put up as many shots and have as much freedom offensively as he got here.
Yeah, something that came to mind with this whole Drew Fielder situation was, like Alabama was one that immediately stood out to me because just the way they run their offense, he seems to fit there. And there's no inside sourcing on that, just kind of a landing spot that made sense for what they need. But this past season, Alabama brought in Noah Williamson, who was Patriot League Player of the Year, was averaging 18 points per game at Bucknell, goes to Alabama, and he's scoring 1 point per game this year and doesn't get any run. Like, that is, I understand the money part of it. You know, Drew Fielder is probably going to be making 30 times what a lot of our listeners are making. It's an absurd amount of money, so you can't knock a guy for that. You just hope he lands at a spot that the playing time and the ability to love basketball stays there. That's something that point guard at Purdue, Braden Smith, mentioned. He said, you know, someone asked him about, like, oh, you've been at Purdue for 4 years. And he's like, yeah, I could have left. I had offers, but I love playing basketball here. And my worst fear was I would go somewhere and lose my love of basketball. Like, that's anytime you've got like a mid-major guy like Drew Fielder transferring up, you hope that they just can find a good role and keep that love for basketball. But yeah, no doubt it's a big loss, though. I don't think we need to downplay that. I put together my priority list for the offseason for Boise State to get back to March, and number one was keep Drew Fielder. This is an all-league player, someone you can build an offense around. It drastically shifts sort of how we project Boise State into next year, because when we were doing some of the roster-building exercises, it was, okay, let's build a roster around Drew Fielder and see what pieces need to come in. Now it's pretty much a fresh start. Like, you may have
as a huge truck goes by here,
Cisco comes by to deliver some food.
They want some free advertising as they're driving by here. Yeah.
You know, now it's you'll probably have Pearson Carmichael back. Probably going to have most of the freshmen, if not all the freshmen, back. But in terms of, like, there's no all-star player you're building around. You really have just a clean slate.
I got a name for you. One they can build around.
Who's that?
How about Isaiah Harwell?
Hey, Isaiah Harwell, former 5-star, was at Houston this past season.
Top 10 player in the class. He was the highest ranked player ever to sign with Houston, of all places.
Yep.
Top 10 player in the entire class, entering the transfer portal. His brother, Malik Harwell, played for Boise State, lives in Boise, still connected to the program, was hosting some of those Horseshoe Collective post-game shows. If you're a Boise State coach, why are you not going to guys like him and saying, you didn't play much, you weren't happy with what you got there? Well, we got this extra $1 million lying around that we were going to give to Drew Fielder. Come score 20 points a game for us, and then either go get $3 million somewhere else or go to the NBA, or we'll try to pay you again next year. Like, everybody gave Jeff Choate crap for, like, how he basically came out publicly and said, like, come play for us and then go get 1.6 at Oregon next year.
Yeah.
But, like, there is something to that a little bit when you just saw Drew Fielder make $300,000 last year and turn that into $2 million.
Yeah.
I know it sounds crazy. Maybe you don't word it just like that, like leaving a year, but, like, hey, Drew Fielder just got $300,000 and turned it into $2 million by playing a year in our system.
Mm-hmm.
You come play for us, you be the star player, you get 20 points a game, live in the same town as your brother again, have a fun year, and then see what happens next year.
Yeah, playing time and exposure are now king, right? It is no longer 2012. If you're a 5-star, go to Georgia, sit on the bench for a couple years, and then earn your starting spot. And hopefully by year 3, you're an NBA guy or an NFL guy. It's now, where can you go play? Because the guys who are getting the biggest bags now, especially in college basketball, your top 10 recruits are still getting huge money. AJ DeBanza is getting $7 million from BYU. But if you're in that, like, low 5-star, high 4-star range, your maximum opportunity for wealth is doing what Drew Fielder did. Go somewhere where you can be the centerpiece of the offense and then potentially transfer up. Isaiah Harwell would be a slam dunk if the staff is able to get him. There's obviously some connections there. He's, grew up in Pocatello. Like, if he wants to come back home, I was looking, he had Idaho State in his top 8 because he was just like, I love living in Idaho. I love where I'm at. So maybe there is some appeal there to come back to
And
Boise.
I will say, somebody says, have they reached out to Isaiah? I'm not going to get into who I've talked to or what, but I will say there have been conversations.
Okay.
There have been,
yeah.
I would still put this at about 5% right now, 5 to 8%, and maybe we'll kind of keep a meter going every day about what I'm hearing and getting. But I would not put it at 0.
Yeah,
I don't think you're crazy. I don't think we're crazy to bring this up as a possibility. Sometimes it's just right place, right time. Catch lightning in a bottle. Like, someone's looking for something. Idaho kid looking for a bounce back year. Now, yes, could Gonzaga or somebody still pay him $2 million and he says, I want to go big time? Yes. Is he butthurt that Boise State didn't offer him a scholarship out of high school and didn't recruit him but they knew they had no chance to get him? Why waste their time? Who knows? I don't know. But his brother, like I said, still has good relationships with the program.
Yep.
He's around. He lives in town for, like I said, for 1 year. Come back, live with your brother for a year. Have a great year. We'll get you a condo down by the river. You guys can live together and have 1 year, and we'll pay you $800,000, and you can turn that into an NBA pick or $3 million next year somewhere else. Like, I would say that my understanding is there has at least been some form of communication between the two.
Yeah.
Technically, I don't know what that means. Is it agents? Is it whatever? Because he's not technically in the portal.
Right.
But can his brother talk to Boise State for him, and that counts? I don't know. They're doing it the right way. They're not breaking any rules. But somehow, once grandma has talked to somebody's church pastor, I don't know what the rules are that are legal, but they have. There has been some form of back channeling. I don't know. From what I've been told, I don't know. But I don't, like I said, every school in America, I'm sure, is doing that.
Right.
Reaching out. But to have a brother who lives in town and is probably fighting for him, I've seen crazier scenarios, man.
And been around the program, right? Like Malik Harwell played with Lexus Williams while he was here. There are strong relationships there. And that's sort of the nature of the offseason is you get a total gut punch in the Drew Fielder news. But, this staff, they do have a little bit of money to spend. It's not like we're talking about, UC Santa Barbara, who is like, spending more on or less on their whole roster than Drew Fielder's about to go get in the portal. Like there's a little bit of money here for Boise State to spend. And as much as the Drew Fielder news hurts, there's going to be some exciting news down the horizon. And I think that's kind of how we felt last year. At this time, it was, man, Cardenas is gone. Tyson Dagenhart is gone. Omar Stanley's gone. Like,
yeah,
where's this program going to go? And then they bring in a Drew Fielder and a Dylan Andrews. And it's like, wow, optimism's high heading into next year. So, as much as the Drew Fielder news hurts for Bronco Nation, like there are going to be exciting things coming. And if it's Isaiah Harwell, I think that's a slam dunk. If it comes.
I'm assigning you a story live on the show here.
All right.
But I would like you to do something on the last 10 years or whatever of the transfers in the Leon Rice era.
Okay.
That have come in. Guys they brought in. Maybe we look at every year who they brought in, stats, positives, negatives, and maybe give them a grade. I don't know. And I think in the last couple of years, you probably have to put expectations / money as part of the equation.
Yep.
If you're giving a guy like Dylan Andrews $800,000, you're going to be a little tougher grader on what you want to get back in return. I hadn't even remembered Omar Stanley. First year, he was a huge positive. Second year from St. John's, struggled a little bit, didn't, had some stuff going on. But the first year, he was a all-league caliber player.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and maybe, I don't know if we want to do something on the guys that left in the same thing, or maybe, I don't know how you want to do like a net off season. I don't know how we want to do that, but I would just focus on guys they brought in, I think, first, because I off the top of my head, man, I think they've brought in a lot more guys that have worked out than haven't. And that's why a lot of people are freaking out about the pro. Like, my understanding is they're going to have more than $3 million this year for the rev share. It's going up over $1 million from what it was last year, somewhere in the 3.5 range. I mean, that's 7 guys you could pay $500,000 to. I mean, you can get that's 10 guys. That's 11 guys you could pay $300,000 to. Like, you could still go get a quality player for $300,000 in the portal.
Well, that's
like,
Drew Fielder was in that ballpark.
Last year, Drew Fielder got $300K.
Yeah.
So if you want to go get, like, there are quality players and they have they do have money to spend. And so I do think someone's asking the status of Bowen. I do believe that
Julian Bowie
is that who you're talking about. I think they fully expect him to hopefully be back. I mean, nobody knows his mental state or where he's at, but as time passes, maybe he's able to come to grips a little more and be okay mentally to deal with that. But no one with mental health, no one's messing with that or pushing with that or dealing with that or, just dealing with the loss of a loved one. You're going to give that person as much time as they need. And I haven't heard anything. I don't know if they're even worried about the waiver right now. Worry about that in 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's eligible this year.
Yep.
So worry about that later. But I mean, he did do some things on the practice squad. He was part of the practice squad, the scout team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he still played in practice, was around the team. And so I would expect that, hopefully he's able to try to get out there and play this year, but I don't think anybody truly knows. But my whole kind of overarching thing was, yes, Drew, I'm not sugarcoating Drew Fielder leaving. That was a massive loss. It really was. But I also think the staff deserves a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that they can go find another Drew Fielder.
Yeah.
They can go find another Alvaro Carr. Like they're not batting 100%, but they're batting way better than 50% in terms of positives versus negatives. Now they have a little more cash they weren't thinking they would have to spend. Maybe you go get 2 quality players for $500,000 each that you would have got with one Drew Fielder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, maybe you go, like, there's different options now. Now, yes, Harwell would be swinging for the fences. I'm not expecting that to happen. I don't want to get fans' hopes too far up. I don't think it's 0%, but I also don't think it's
somewhere between
super
0
likely.
and 15.
I would say 0 to 10 probably. Yes, or 1 to 10. I mean, it's not 0.
Yeah,
it's 1 to 10. But would that be Prater's been talking about that Jeremiah Dickey needs something to something shiny to sell this offseason.
Yep.
He needed he want, whether it's Kobe Carl becoming the offensive coordinator, whether it's, whatever, a new there's a lot of there's the reseeding has people upset. The season didn't end very well. You need something to help keep the momentum going all summer at Boise State basketball. I think Isaiah Harwell would certainly do that.
I think so. I think that was.
I still don't think it's happening, but it fits. It crosses all the T's and dots all the. I mean, it checks every box of what would have this fan base.
Yeah,
that would be the biggest home run of home runs if you brought Isaiah Harwell, the number 8 player in the class last year, 5-star player, McDonald's All-American, I believe, back to Boise for a year, or 2 back to Idaho to Boise for a year. I mean, they would have. I don't care who the other 10 players are they get. That would be they would have won the offseason.
It would be the sort of the Malachi Nelson story for the basketball program. Like, obviously, Malachi Nelson never got a start at Boise State, hardly touched the football field, but just being a former 5-star quarterback and coming to Boise, that was a massive story that built tons and tons of expectations and excitement for the 2024 team. Now, that team hit on those expectations because Ashton Genty was so special. But we saw, there was more engagement going into that year than most Boise State football seasons we've had in recent years. Yeah, I think had you brought Drew Fielder back, there could have been some of that. But now if you're able to pivot and go get a guy like Isaiah Harwell, who's a bona fide former 5-star, was playing at Houston. It wasn't like he rode the bench all year at Houston. This isn't a Bronny James thing where it's more of a name than production. Like, he was a part of Houston's rotation, and that was a top 5 team in college basketball this year. So I think it'd be a slam dunk. I think that, I'm with you on it's just a money thing with Drew Fielder. I don't think you blame the staff. And ultimately, I go back to, keep in mind, Drew Fielder was committed to USC, and this staff was able to out-recruit Eric Musselman in USC to get him to Boise.
And for significantly less money.
For less money.
He could have got, my understanding is, almost $1 million, somewhere in the $800,000-$900,000 range. He turned down at USC to take less than half of that, almost a third of that, 300, 350, something like that at Boise State. And so he already took one huge pay cut.
Yep.
To ask him to take another one, not knowing what his basketball future is, I don't really. Does it stink? Did you think maybe he's different? He's the hometown kid coming back, but it just, be mad at the system. Be mad at the rules. Don't be mad at Boise State coach Leon Rice in this situation. Or frankly, I wouldn't be, Fielder. I would put a little more of the irk if you had to pick one side towards Fielder. I mean, he was on your team. He came all the way back, said he loved it here, and then left.
Yeah.
But I don't put much at all on the coaching staff in this case.
No, I think what it is fan bases, they want to have a scapegoat. They want someone to blame. And I think it's hard to blame the Drew Fielder who, ultimately, it's hard to tell it, be mad at a kid for going and taking a pay bump, which, look, any of us in the chat, I mean, I love it here at BNN. It's great. You guys take care of me. But if Fox Sports called and offered me $2 million, it's hard to say no.
We could not match that.
Yeah, BNN not quite there yet. It's hard to say no. And I think people just want something to be mad at when in reality, this is where the program's at. They're not ready to pay individual players $2.5 million yet.
Nope.
They're in a better spot than a lot of programs. You'd rather be Boise State than a Wyoming. You'd rather be Boise State than a Big West school. But they're not where I think a lot of fans want the program to be, which is, just
the Wyoming football team's NIL rev share. I guess I should call it rev share. The Wyoming football team's rev share is in next year is going to be less than Boise State basketball.
Yeah, I think I saw that, like $2 to $3 million somewhere in that ballpark.
They were $800,000 this year. Wow. Boise State's basketball budget was 4 times the amount of 3 times the amount of a Mountain West football program.
Wow.
Think about that. So they're doing everything they can. And my understanding was they tried as hard as they could, did everything they could to keep Drew Fielder. But in the end, it gets to what a GM one time in the Cardinals called a puke point. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. You're stretching the budget as much as you can, and it makes you want to puke where you're at now. You know what? You shake hands and say, we appreciated your year. Go get your bag. There's nothing we can do about it. If it's all about money to you and you want that bag, go get it. And that's what it's going to be. Now, with that said, and I said I do think they deserve a little bit of the benefit of the doubt for their track record. They got some work to do.
Absolutely.
They do have a lot of roster spots to fill, and I know they're working hard behind the scenes. Some guys that are like grad transfers you technically can talk to because they can enter right away.
Right.
Some guys, like I said, you're not supposed to talk to, but you can talk to their high school trainer. Like, there are ways around it, and I know they're working hard. They're watching film. I saw Alexis Williams the other day walking by. He's like, just grinding and watching film. So when that portal opens, we're ready.
Yep.
We're just watching film. And so, but they have a lot of spots to fill. They've got to make some massive improvements to the roster. They're trying to retain some of the guys they have. The one that I still am kind of iffy about is Aarons. I haven't heard much on him. I think you'd like to keep him.
Yep,
absolutely. But I've heard, is it Bedinger?
True freshman
I believe feel pretty good about him staying.
Okay.
All indications are I think NATO's probably going to be staying.
Okay.
Which I think is good. We're waiting on Aarons, and then I think Carmichael
and Bonboim.
He is staying, I believe. I believe Bunn is staying. And then I think the one kind of main rotation guy, the other one that we're waiting on is Carmichael, and that could come in the next few days. And we're waiting on Meadow, but I the longer it draws out with Meadow and just everything, when there's smoke, there's usually stuff to it. And I would not get your hopes up on Andrew Meadow returning next season.
Well, and I think if you're a fan, that's one that you can be all right seeing leave. Just the circumstances around it. Was the second highest paid player last year, was not your second best player last year. I don't think there's a realistic path for him being the second best player on a tournament team. And so that's one where it's like, all right, if Boise State could give him, $1 million to keep him here, you'd probably at that point let him walk to a program who can pay him $1 million to be the fourth or fifth best player.
Sure.
Right. So
it's all about money ball. It's all about a budget. This is a professional. The Seattle Seahawks wanted to keep Kenneth Walker, and it didn't make sense financially to do it. And they had to make a tough decision and let him go.
I had to bring it up.
I'm just like, I think that's one that people can kind of relate to.
Yeah.
And they would have loved to have had him back, but you got to make financial decisions, and they couldn't do it. And so is an Andrew Meadow at $800,000 worth more than whatever player you think you could bring in to replace him?
And I would just.
Who would you rather have, Isaiah Harwell or Andrew Meadow, if they cost the same amount of money?
Isaiah Harwell.
Okay.
This team, to me, especially on the wing, if Pearson's back, you need a little bit more athleticism. You need a little bit more length. And that's where if I was the GM of this team, if Andrew Meadow wanted to stay, take a pay cut, great. He's a good player. You'd like to keep him around. But, I mean, there were three guys who were all Mountain West or honorable mention last year, and Andrew Meadow wasn't one of them. I think that's a player that if he's back next year, you'd need him to be the fourth or fifth highest paid player. I don't think that's realistic for what he was getting this past year. So, if that happens, if Andrew Meadow enters the portal, it's one that I don't think there should be a whole lot of, and I know there will.
Oh, there will. And especially if it happens like today or tomorrow, what is going on over there? Oh, they're all smart to get out. We could have kept the team together if Leon had left. It's all coming. It's all coming.
He was the fourth best player on the team this year, and it was a team that, by all of the same fans who had criticized him leaving, said it was a wildly disappointing season. So that's one that I don't think there should be a lot of vitriol or anger or even discontentment. You know what? He had a role here, didn't work out. Drew Fielder hurts. That's no doubt about it. I think fans grieving that loss totally get it. You would have loved to have had him going into year one of the Pac-12. But the sneaky part, if you want to spin it super optimistically, Drew Fielder is not a super easy player to build around in terms of roster construction because he's a big who doesn't really protect the rim. He's not a great rebounder. So it's you kind of want to play him at the 5 as a small ball, but then you need a 4 who can rebound next to him.
You can get actual shooters that shoot better from 3 than he does. I mean, for a big guy, he shot great, 41% or whatever it was. But if 3-point shooting is what you want, you can go get that from a guard.
Right. It just gives you a little bit of flexibility so that now if you wanted to bring in a point guard who maybe doesn't excel defensively, you can maybe add a rim protection guy behind him who can sort of help lift the defense this coming year. I don't think it's by chance that the defense sort of fell off a cliff this year with Drew Fielder playing a lot of minutes at the 5. Just when you don't have a rim protector and you don't have the perimeter defense they had. Now, again, this is me spinning it very optimistically.
Yeah.
It's a bad loss. He was my number one off-season priority was try to retain Drew Fielder, but now it just means 2 through 5 going to be so much more impactful to be able to accomplish those things. And, optimism's probably low right now heading into next year, but that first commit, that second commit that come through the portal, I think the optimism will rise again heading into next year.
Yeah. Somebody said, didn't Meadow already post year 3? Oh, this is year 4.
Yeah.
So that he did post that last year. He posted that last year. Yeah. And he's got a DVD coming out at some point or a documentary.
Okay.
He hired a camera crew that followed him around all year and there'll be a documentary on Andrew Meadow coming out at some point. I don't know many of the details on that, but like I said, sometimes people late in the season wanted to, we got to redo the entire roster. And now that's what they're doing. And then fans are saying they've lost the team because everyone's leaving.
Yeah.
So it is that the takes have been wild. They've been out there. We got a couple final things I want to get to, but I do want to thank a couple more sponsors real quick. Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. Number 1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Check him out online, BauscherRealEstate.com. Hey, Signature Roofing, you need a new roof? Signature Roofing has you covered. MySignatureRoofing.com. Re-roofs, repairs, estimates, inspections. Check out MySignatureRoofing.com. Hey, how about a fence? You on the fence about that fencing project? Element Fencing has you covered. Decks, pergolas, they can do those as well. 25 plus years in the fencing company for Brady and his staff. They're ready to help you from the ground up. Element Fencing online, elementfencing.com. Ridley's Family Markets. You can get those Sun Cruisers at Ridley's. Love Ridley's. That CUNA location is awesome. It's worth the drive. I'd head over there, even though I live a little further away. But love Ridley's and appreciate them. Find a location near you online. Shop Ridley's.com. Hey, interior, exterior painting. We might be doing that Painter for a Day project. We got some touch-up paint we need done. Painter for a Day project. One of the many great options. Those concrete coatings are world famous. Rowpaint.com. Check them out. 991-0567. Rowpaint.com. Transportation Compliance Service, local company helping out folks all over the world. Transportation Compliance Service. If you want to get into the trucking industry, that's who you need to check out. Transportation Compliance Service. Comments are just rolling in here. Let's see. Larry is a New Mexico fan, said Boise can have Chol from New Mexico. So everybody wants guys, every fan base wants guys here, there, gone. But yeah, Drew Fielder, big news. I put up like 4 or 5 days ago that what I had heard, he was getting big offers and it was going to be harder and harder to retain him. That ends up being the case. He's now gone. RJ Keene also no longer at the program. And I do think more news, both positive and negative, in terms of positive returners, negative departures is probably coming and could come this week. Remember, the portal opens a week from Tuesday. So a week from Tuesday, I guess a week from today, right? The day after the Final Four.
Yep.
So I guess is it that midnight after the championship? It just opens right away, or I don't know what the technical.
I don't know if they have
are.
a specific hour there
because you have to have paperwork, and I'm sure they're not putting in paperwork at midnight that their kids leaving their program.
Right.
But at some point, it'll officially open, and then things will get crazy the next couple of weeks. But probably looking at 5, 6, 7, 8 new players coming in. I mean, it's going to be there's some work to be done. I would suspect, we're talking about managing the budget also. I would suspect another non-D1 player, whether that's a D2 player. There's some smoke on our message boards. Go check out our message boards, BroncoNationNews.com, about a D2 point guard. There is, I think, whether it's NAIA. I also think international. I think you can save a little bit of money on the international market, whether you go down to Australia and tap into that again. Serbia and some of those big guys are getting a lot of talk. You saw the big guy from New Mexico, Bullion, that was like a 23-year-old freshman or whatever. Like, if I had to do kind of the trifecta or whatever, if I'm making bets here, I'm gonna bet on one non-D1 transfer.
Okay.
Either, like I said, D2, D3, NAIA, and one international.
Okay.
I think they will check both of those boxes in an effort to save a little money, but also to try to find a diamond in the rough, so to speak, that maybe some folks have missed on. And then I think they'll get a couple high-level transfers and try to piece this thing together. But a lot of work to do, a lot of spots, 5, 6, 7 guys to add, and we'll keep all that together. And chat's been lively today, so appreciate you guys. Any football, basketball, any final thoughts? We got the Final Four set. We'll have an off day tomorrow. We are going to talk to Maddox Madsen, Bowen Phelps here. I got to get going in a couple minutes. And then we'll have Thursday, another open practice, and we'll have a show there. But spring's rolling along, and football, basketball, a lot going on.
Yeah, on the football front, excited to be back, excited to see the team. Feels like there's more focus and urgency. At this time last year, not that the team wasn't focused, but there was sort of a laid-back attitude, playing music during practice. Like, these practices now feel very business-like. There's no music playing. Everything's intentional. They've got more competition going. They've got more reps during practice. Like you've talked about, splitting the team up so that 44 guys are getting reps every minute instead of 22. Excited for football. I think there's a lot of positive things there. After you guys left, a couple of true freshman receivers made some really nice plays. Rashawn Jones had like a 60-yard touchdown
I was still
pass.
standing there. I saw that.
Okay, so
and then Cole Miller gave him a good lick.
Yep. And then
but a great catch.
Terrius Favors had like a little 60-yard touchdown on a fly sweep and made about 2-3 guys miss along the way. So some excitement there, some encouraging notes. And then on the basketball front, like, again, I think this moment is probably going to be the low point of the offseason. Like, Fielder leaving, but nobody else brought in. Like, that's just the nature of the portal. I'm pretty optimistic that a month from now, Boise State fans will be pretty excited about the team and some of the newcomers that come in.
No doubt. A lot to unfold here over the next couple of weeks. We'll have you covered at BroncoNationNews.com. 50% off right now, that annual subscription, just 50% off. And again, where else are you getting an hour now live broadcast, literally steps away from the practice field after we walked off to give you our observations on football and basketball? Hint, you're not getting it anywhere else. And, oh, by the way, this show is free. So thanks to Sun Cruiser, our studio sponsor. Thanks to Lithia Ford of Boise, our title sponsor. Get out to LithiaFordofBoise.com and find a vehicle, new or pre-owned, for you there. And you can have some Sun Cruisers this weekend. Final Four, a lot going on. Going to be hopefully some nice, maybe rain the next couple of days, but hopefully by the weekend, some nice barbecue and weather. Get out there with some Sun Cruisers. And like I said, 50% off. These shows are free. We appreciate you guys for liking them, for subscribing, for watching them. But the real way to help keep all these shows free and keep a lot of the content, as manageable as and the coverage you're getting in terms of the travel and things like that is to subscribe. And we have a 50% off deal right now, BroncoNationNews.com, 50% off an annual rate. It's like $6.50 a month, something like that. Cup of coffee or two at Starbucks, $7 a month. And I said it, 6, 7. By the way, that's like done. There's some new ones my kids are saying now. I don't know. But
I am so not in tune with Gen Z.
Appreciate you guys for checking out the show. Like us, watch us on the way out, or hit the subscribe button. And like I said, if you can, it really does help us out. 50% off, $7 a month at BroncoNationNews.com. All kinds of analysis from Nathan, from Chris, from Prater, myself, all kinds of content that you're not going to get anywhere else. So have a great rest of your day. We're going to get Maddox Madsen, Bowen Phelps, David Latu, Cam Bates, 4 guys talking today. We'll get those on the YouTube channel this afternoon. And if news breaks, we'll have you covered. Message boards were popping yesterday. Go back into the message boards, BroncoNationNews.com, football, basketball discussion, all kinds of stuff. And that is free. If you're unable to subscribe, we have the free boards there. You can get a free membership and chat there. So going to go and do the interviews. And then we'll see you guys online this afternoon. We'll see you at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Bronco Nation News online, BroncoNationNews.com. For Jay, for Nathan, I'm BJ. We'll talk to you guys later.